Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to Wealth and Wisdom. We are continuing our critique of usury. A main reason for our condemnation of usury relates to the concept and practice of discounting future values. Because compound interest results in an appreciation in invested monetary capital, it is presumed rational for people to prefer having a specified amount of currency now than the same amount sometime in the future. This simple and rarely questioned logic has several disastrous implications. For instance, discounting affects the rate at which we use up natural resources. The higher the discount rate, derived partly from the interest rate, the faster the resources are likely to be depleted. We can take this observation to its logical conclusion and show that discounting can lead to the economically rational extinction of a species, simply if the prevailing interest rate happens to be greater than the reproduction rate of the exploited species. Another consequence of the discounting principle is that in evaluating long-term investment projects, particularly those in which the benefits and costs are separated from each other with a long time interval, the net present value rules guide the decision maker to maximize the utility of present generations at the expense of future ones. In this context, it is fitting to observe that a key feature that distinguishes financial economy from nature's economy is that the one operates on a compound interest basis, whereas the other is based on simple interest. Money deposited in the bank may yield 10% plus interest on the compounded sum next year, but in nature, if you leave this year's crop of apples on the tree, you are unlikely to pick a compoundedly heavier crop next year. Accordingly, usury permits a disjunction between financial and ecological economy. The result is either the progressive destruction of nature, or in the absence of redistributive social justice, an inbuilt necessity for periodic financial crashes throughout history. The point is well made by the illustration that if Judas Iscariot had invested his 30 pieces of silver at just a few percentage points compound, repayable in silver as of today, the amount of silver required would be equivalent to the weight of the earth. The implicit ethics of discounting can be used to illustrate clearly why usury corrupts the natural world as well as social relations. For instance, consider the impact of net present value discounted cash flow methodology in appraising the trade-off between natural and human-made capital, which, over the fullness of time, can usually be justified only if the utility of future generations is discounted. This violates intergenerational equity, a key principle of sustainable development recognized by the 1992 Rio Earth Summit of the United Nations. It also violates an age-old percept of right livelihood which flies in the face of the presumption of time value of money on which interest rates are based, that is, it violates the presumption of many traditional land users that the land should be handed on to the next generation in at least as good heart as it was inherited from the forebears. Discounting, as the counterpoint of usury, can be thus exposed as rueful device employed to justify theft of the children's future. If you learned something from this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.